Imagine having a vibrant, living piece of the ocean sitting right on your desk. Pretty cool, right? Well, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling the fascinating challenge of building a thriving nano reef tank. We're drawing our insights directly from a comprehensive guide by Saltwater Reef Co. all about the best corals for nano reefs, focusing specifically on easy starters and proper long-term care. So if you've ever wanted to keep a stunning miniature reef, but, felt kind of intimidated by the delicate nature of corals, you are absolutely in the right place. Okay, let's dive right into this. What is the real secret to a thriving nano reef? Is it buying the absolute most expensive gear on the market? Or maybe committing to, I don't know, doing water changes every single day? Well, as we explore the insights from the source material today, we're going to find out that the true secret actually lies entirely in your initial selection process. Let's shatter a major beginner myth right out of the gate. When you're setting up a nano tank, the natural expectation is usually that you just need to head to the local fish store and buy the absolute smallest coral species you can find. Makes sense, right? Small tank, small coral. But the reality, long-term success is actually about finding the most resilient corals. Think of it like a cup of water sitting next to a massive swimming pool out in the hot sun. A single drop of evaporation or a slight overfeeding affects that tiny 10-gallon tank drastically faster than a 100-gallon setup. So you need corals that are remarkably forgiving of those rapid environmental swings, not just ones that happen to be tiny in size. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the Nano Reef Challenge, then move into beginner-friendly soft corals, before upgrading to showy LPS coral options. After that, we'll cover 4 key success factors, and finally wrap things up with the golden rule of reefing. Okay, Section 1. The Nano Reef Challenge, and understanding water instability. So the crucial point we really need to establish before we even talk about specific livestock is this concept of nanosystem volatility. In low-volume tanks, your water parameters can fluctuate incredibly fast. We're talking about keeping your salinity and temperature perfectly balanced alongside vital minerals like alkalinity and calcium. Alkalinity acts as a chemical buffer to keep your water's pH stable, while calcium is the literal building block stony corals use to grow their skeletons. In a small box of water, literally just one missed freshwater top-off can spike your salinity and stress the whole system out. That rapid volatility is exactly why matching a highly resilient coral to your specific tank's lighting and flow isn't just a recommendation, it's absolutely critical for survival. Moving right along to Section 2, beginner-friendly soft corals, and starting your reef journey. Let's look at 3 top beginner choices and match our expectations against reality. First up, zoanthids. They look like little, colorful alien flowers, and honestly, their hardiness is legendary. They're fantastic starters that tolerate early new tank adjustments incredibly well. However, they do require a bit of special care. You need to give them ample physical space on their own rock structure so they don't aggressively crowd out their neighbors as they multiply. Next, Riccardia. These are essentially textured, incredibly vibrant mushroom corals that stay delightfully compact, though they do prefer slightly gentler, more stable flow conditions than zoanthids. And finally, we have the Kenya tree. Now, this one brings quick, vertical color and swaying movement to a small tank, but it comes with a massive caveat. It will absolutely dominate your nano tank, dropping branches and overgrowing everything else if you aren't prepared to aggressively trim it on a regular basis. All right, Section 3, showy LPS coral options, upgrading your aesthetic. This is specifically for those of you who want those striking, fleshy forms without the extreme fragility of SPS, or small polyp stony, corals. Moving into the LPS, or large polyp stony category, let's discuss the incredibly popular Euphyllia family. These are your frog spawns, torches, and candy canes. They are beloved because they thrive in moderate flow with occasional targeted feeding, and their large, fleshy polyps look absolutely striking as they sway in small displays. But here's the major catch when keeping them in a tight nano environment. You absolutely must leave physical room for what's known as their tentacle sweep. Many of these corals send out long, specialized sweeper tentacles at night to aggressively defend their territory. If placed too close to a neighbor, they will literally wage chemical warfare, stinging and damaging other corals as they expand. Physical space is for sure your best friend here. Now we need to hit the brakes for just a second. The guide issues a strict warning regarding branching LPS and goniopora. Wait until your tanks stabilize. They look beautiful and very tempting at the local fish store, but they have complex dietary and water quality needs that make them far less forgiving than the fleshy Euphyllia we just discussed. They require incredibly mature tanks with highly stable mineral consumption rates. If you're new to the hobby, stick to the hardier corals and only add these highly sensitive branching species much later down the line, once your miniature ecosystem is completely locked in. Which brings us to Section 4, 4 key success factors, the playbook for coral placement. Before you purchase anything, you really need to evaluate this Rule of 4 playbook. Pillar 1, match lighting intensity. Make sure the coral you buy actually fits the power of the light fixture you own. Pillar 2, provide coral-appropriate flow. Think gentle random currents for LPS and highly adaptable flow for softies like zoas. Pillar 3, keep corals physically separated using frag plugs. Those are the little ceramic or plastic bases that new corals come mounted on. They make it incredibly easy to move things around if neighbors get a little too close. And Pillar 4, maintain stable nutrients balance. Keep a close eye on avoiding extreme spikes or, conversely, absolute zero levels in your nitrates and phosphates. This neatly distills a ton of dense biological requirements into a super easy-to-digest checklist. And this naturally builds into a highly practical execution strategy for stocking your tank. Step 1. Start with fewer species. Step 2. Observe them closely for a few weeks. Do not rush the biological process. Step 3. Check for stable polyp expansion, meaning the coral is comfortably extending its feeding tentacles and flesh to soak up light, rather than staying tightly closed up and stressed. Step 4. Add new corals only after you see normal feeding responses from your current inhabitants. The guide makes a vital point right here. Early losses in nanotanks are almost always caused by sudden parameter shifts, not an inherently bad coral choice. In a small water volume, stability is absolutely everything. Okay, final section, Section 5, the golden rule of reefing, a reality check. The source guide leaves us with a stark but vital reminder for long-term success. Starter-friendly doesn't mean no care. Even the hardiest, most resilient soft corals we discussed today still demand high-quality salt mixes, slow and correct temperature acclimation, and highly predictable routine maintenance. You cannot just drop them into the water and forget about them. But if you keep your tiny system steady, regularly test your water, and respect the undeniable rules of low water volume, you are setting yourself up for incredible success. We've covered the hidden volatility of small water volumes, the best resilient soft and large polyp corals to start with, and the core pillars of smart placement. So, I want you to look at your own setup right now. Knowing what you now know about parameter swings, flow requirements, and territorial spacing, is your Nano Reef actually ready for its first coral? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and hey, happy reefing!